Hello, and welcome to today's briefing. I'm Dana, and joining me is Matt. We're covering a range of stories from politics to economy and beyond.
That's right, Dana. We've got a packed show for you today, starting with some significant political developments.
Let's begin with the news that U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha have welcomed their fourth child, making him the first baby born to a sitting U.S. Vice President in over 150 years.
That's a historic first. What are the details surrounding the birth?
The baby boy, named Alec Neil Vance, was born at Walter Reed Medical Center. The Vance family announced the news on Sunday, and it's significant as J.D. Vance has been an advocate for higher birth rates in America.
That's interesting. So this personal event ties into his public stance on family and birth rates. How does this impact his political career or public image?
The reporting suggests that this event highlights Usha Vance's role and the family's personal life, which could humanize J.D. Vance in the public eye. It's a significant personal milestone that intersects with his political advocacy.
I see. Let's move on to another political story.
Hamas has named Khalil al-Hayya as its new overall leader, following the death of Yahya Sinwar in combat with Israeli forces. Al-Hayya is seen as having good ties with Iran and was the group's Qatar-based chief negotiator.
What does this mean for Hamas's future direction, especially in terms of negotiations or conflict?
The articles indicate that al-Hayya's leadership could influence Hamas's negotiation stance, given his experience as a veteran negotiator. His ties with Iran might also impact the group's strategic decisions.
That's a critical development. The dynamics between Hamas, Iran, and Israel are complex. How might this change the landscape of the conflict?
The new leadership might bring a different approach to negotiations or resistance. The reporting highlights al-Hayya's survival of an Israeli raid on Qatar last year, which could indicate his resilience and strategic importance.
Let's switch gears to a statement made by Trump regarding Benjamin Netanyahu's potential arrest in the U.S.
President Trump stated that Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in the U.S., countering New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's call for Netanyahu's arrest over alleged war crimes.
What was the context behind Mamdani's call for Netanyahu's arrest?
Mamdani suggested that Netanyahu belongs in The Hague for war crimes in Gaza. Trump, however, reassured that Netanyahu would not be arrested in any way, shape, or form while in the U.S.
That's a significant statement from Trump. How does this reflect on the U.S.'s stance on international law and political asylum or immunity for foreign leaders?
The reporting shows Trump's statement as a strong backing of Netanyahu, reflecting a complex interplay between U.S. domestic politics and international relations.
Moving on, there's news that Trump has imposed a 50% tariff on Canadian goods, citing disputes over autos, alcohol, and dairy products.
The move is seen as a protectionist measure, potentially escalating economic tensions between the U.S. and Canada. The tariffs could lead to higher inflation and impact trade relations.
Canada might retaliate with its own tariffs on U.S. goods, potentially sparking a trade war. The reporting highlights risks of economic chaos and fraying relations between the two nations.
Let's touch on the political news from South Carolina. Senator Darlene Graham, who replaced her late brother Lindsey Graham, has announced her candidacy for a full term in the Senate. She's serving out the remainder of Lindsey Graham's term.
What are the implications of her running for a full term, especially in terms of the Republican primary?
Her entry into the race complicates the Republican scramble for the Senate nomination. The reporting suggests she's confident in her ability to fill her brother's seat.
Switching to economy news, the EU has fined AliExpress €550 million for failing to curb the sale of unsafe and counterfeit products.
The fine is the largest ever imposed under the EU's Digital Services Act. AliExpress must submit an action plan to address these issues by October 20.
What are the broader implications of this fine for other online marketplaces and the regulation of e-commerce?
This significant penalty sets a precedent for stricter regulation of online platforms. The EU's crackdown on unsafe and counterfeit goods could lead to more aggressive compliance checks on other marketplaces.
In defense news, Lockheed Martin has unveiled a lower-cost Patriot missile designed to counter drones and missiles.
The new PAC-3 Adapted Capability Effector, or ACE, missile is expected to cost less than half as much as the existing PAC-3 MSE interceptors, which cost around $4 million each.
How does this development impact the air defense market and the cost-effectiveness of missile defense systems?
The introduction of a lower-cost option could make air defense systems more accessible to militaries. Lockheed Martin's move is seen as a response to the growing demand for cheaper, scalable air defense solutions.
Let's move to sports news. Spain's World Cup winning team was greeted with a royal welcome and parade in Madrid.
The team, comprising 26 players, was met by the Spanish royal family and Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. An estimated crowd of almost 2 million people turned out to greet the squad.
That's an incredible reception. How does this kind of welcome impact the team's morale and national pride?
The grand welcome likely boosts the team's morale and reinforces national pride. The reporting highlights the significant public turnout and the ceremonial nature of the event.
In entertainment news, a federal judge has ordered Paramount and Warner Bros. Discovery to halt their $81 billion merger for at least 2 weeks.
The temporary restraining order was granted at the request of 12 state attorneys general, led by California Attorney General Rob Bonta, who argued that the merger would give Paramount too much power.
What are the antitrust concerns surrounding this merger, and how might it affect the media landscape?
The state's lawsuit contends that the merger would consolidate too much control over content and distribution. The delay allows for further review of these antitrust concerns.
Let's touch on some environmental news. Southeast Water has introduced a hosepipe ban in parts of Sussex due to parched conditions.
The temporary restriction aims to preserve water supplies amid heat waves in the UK. The ban has been extended to cover customers in Sussex, Surrey, Hampshire, and Berkshire.
How do hosepipe bans help manage water resources during droughts, and what are the implications for consumers?
Hosepipe bans reduce water usage, helping to maintain supplies during dry periods. Consumers will need to adjust their water usage habits, potentially impacting gardening and outdoor activities.
Finally, in health news, India has approved its first dengue vaccine, Qdenga, for people aged 4 to 60.
The approval comes amid a rising disease burden. Dengue exists in 4 different serotypes, making immunity a complex challenge.
What are the implications of this vaccine approval for public health in India, especially during monsoon seasons?
The vaccine offers a new prevention tool against dengue, a significant health concern in India. The reporting highlights the complexity of dengue immunity due to its multiple serotypes.
Well, that's all for today's briefing. Thank you for joining us, Dana.
Thank you, Nat. Goodbye, and we'll see you later.